West Texas, in the late 80s. I was in high school, and my father was the pastor of the local Nazarene church. So my mom was the pastor's wife, I was the pastor's daughter, my brother's the pastor's sons. I was not a pastor's daughter, like the wild ones. I was a nerd. And I was in church at least 3 or 4 times a week. The Nazarenes are a holiness denomination. They believe that you get saved through Jesus Christ, and then the Holy Spirit comes into you. You ask the Holy Spirit to fill you. And the Holy Spirit fills you, and so it's remarkably optimistic. He fixes your heart, and then you are the temple of God. And so in order to stay in that place, I was taught that I had to avoid anything that was not holy, meaning people who were not holy, no close friendships that were outside the church, things. I didn't get my ears pierced until way late, things like cigarettes, drinking, any addiction like that was specifically forbidden. Movies. I didn't go to movies until I was in college, really. And dancing. So I went to my 2 proms, junior and senior year. My dad is going to hear this, and my junior year, I actually asked my friend's brother to go because I knew that my dad wouldn't let me go if I didn't have a date. So I said, yeah, I got asked, and I lied. One of the few times I lied to get a date. So all of that, right? No dancing. However, again, West Texas, late 80s, Saturday nights, my dad would go to the church to prep for the sermon the next day. And my mom and I would watch the Solid Gold Dancers. Do you guys remember the Solid Gold Dancers? So we would watch that. And afterwards, quite often, we would put on the Pointer Sisters or ABBA. And it was always, jump for my love, jump in, and we would just get down. We would blast it. We lived in the parsonage, so the preacher's house. I have no idea what our neighbors thought, but we just got down. And I'll never forget this one time when I was doing some move, and my mom was like, "Where'd you get that move?" And I said, "It's just in me." And she smiled just like you did. And that's how we were together. So fast forward 20 years. I'm 37 years old. I had left the church about 7 years before that. I have a then husband. He's now my ex. But I have a husband and 3 children. And my West Side mom friends found out that I had never been drunk before. And they decided to throw me a party, and in the process of throwing me a party, they asked, "What else have you not done?" And so that became a list of things, and that became a decision to do 20 plus. The original list was 43 things long, but 20 plus things over the course of one summer. They were going to do a bunch of stuff with me. And I made it into a project because I knew how scared I still was. If something is work, I am there. I will get it done no matter how scared I am, no matter what, right? So I made it into a project. So I did all these things over the summer of the year 2007. By the end of the year, I had a 500-page manuscript. I had gone skinny dipping, I had gotten a piercing, I had smoked marijuana and cigarettes, and done all of these things that I didn't know would still bring up that fear response from being a holiness preacher's daughter. But it did. So what I want to tell you about, though, tonight is one of the best moments of my entire life. Kid you not, top 10, including having my children. So we went dancing. I asked my friend, Erin, if she would go, and I found this place, this nightclub up in Denver called The Church. I like a good metaphor. And it's a converted cathedral. It's an institution up in Denver. And I thought, well, we have to get there on time because it's this famous DJ. So we got there at 9. Does anyone know about clubbing? Like 9 is just too early. So no one was there. We went upstairs. And we had a drink and we had fun and we just talked about motherhood and life and everything. And then we started hearing noise filtering up from below, around 10:30. So we decided to walk down. Now, by the end of that night, I had seen hip-hop dancers and considered the impact of what the word cool means. And I had grind danced with this guy named Mario and like hopping, and his beer went everywhere and I just let go, you know. I had danced with this adorable man that I was so nervous about dancing with. It was sort of Latin feeling that I never turned around. It's dumb. But a lot of stuff happened that night. But the key point happened when we were walking down from the top to the bottom before anything really ever happened. There was this room, and it was sort of a hallway room, and passing each other could only happen, front to front, scooting by like this. And I was walking first, and there was this very, very, very cute guy walking towards us, and he just grinned at me. And then he got to me, and we had to turn sideways, and we were doing this, and he started dancing with me. And my body took over. It just took over. And I danced, and I got down, and I was in a zone. I wasn't thinking, I was just reacting, and I wasn't even considering whether I was having fun. I just went. And after 3 or 4 minutes, he stopped and moved on, like they do. And I kind of came out of like a trance, and I wanted to follow him and glob onto him and dance with him every single minute of every night forever. I wanted to be friends and dance and be his friend. I was in that mode, please, let's keep doing that. And I didn't follow him, but I did look up and I saw my friend Erin, and I saw her face. And in that split second, I thought 3 apologies came to my mind. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I just ignored you for 5 minutes. And I'm so sorry I didn't ask you to join in the dancing. And I'm so sorry that I embarrassed you by making a fool of myself because I can't dance. I was petrified of not being able to dance. I was worried about my outfit. I worked hard on my outfit and it was a fail. My friend Erin was like blonde and cute and satin and fishnets, and I was just wearing frumpy jeans, and my youngest was a year old, and so I was still nursing my youngest, So I just felt so horrible, and I was really worried about making a fool of myself in that moment. And so I looked up at her, and before I could say any apology, she said, "Jené, you can dance!" I still get the chills. Relief just flooded over me. And I couldn't believe it. I said, "You're not just being nice to make it okay for me to do this whole night. Like, you're not." She said, "No, I don't know where you got those moves, but where did you learn how to do that?" And in that moment, what I wanted to say was, it's just in me. I didn't. I went on to have the rest of the night, But that moment, my weird dancing that has since been described as Elaine from Friends, but good, and this weird mishmash of punk rock, hip hop, and Latin slide with a lot of squatting. I don't know what happens on the dance floor. I just let go. But what does happen every single time is that my friend Erin and my mom. My mom died 3 years ago. And they are both there with me every time I go dancing. I regret the one, I gotta say, I do. It's one of the top regrets that I did not drag my preacher's wife, mother, out on a dance floor before she died and make her lose herself in, what we all know a dance floor can be. I wish I had done that. But I will tell you, she is there. And from that experience, what I hope for you and myself, frankly, in this new year, is that we get out there and that we find that place inside of ourselves where we go, it's just in me.